Hey, what's going on, guys? This is my DVD review of Ring of Honor Survival of the Fittest, 2009. So here's a look at the DVD cover. As we can see, a lot of great talented wrestlers in this matchup, a lot of fresh talent. The first show, or the first weekend without Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. Let me say this. This show was, I was very excited for it. I really thought it provided a lot of fresh and interesting matchups. I like the Survival of the Fittest concept, and but for whatever reason, usually the Survival of the Fittest shows are not that great as overall shows from top to bottom, and this was probably the weakest one. Now, the actual Survival of the Fittest match saved the show. It was really good. I'm going to say it was the second best Survival of the Fittest match. So that's what I think of that. But let's get down with the review. I'll talk about the commentary, and I'll talk about all the problems I had with the show as it goes on. So next up we had the Young Bucks. This is the first match in the show. It was the Young Bucks versus the House of Truth. Not that good. Probably one of the weakest Young Bucks matches I've seen. The House of Truth, they played pretty good heels, but I need to see more of them. This was not a good showcase from them. The finish was pretty good, though. The crowd liked the finish, but one of the best matches on the show, but that's not really saying much. So next up, we had the first qualifier. The first qualifier was Kevin Steen versus Colt Cabana. Kevin Steen was injured, so hurt his knee, and so this was really disappointing. One of the worst matches of the year, but this kind of reminded me of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. I know some people might get pissed off at me for saying that, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. I mean, they just could not get it going, and the crowd was. Obviously did not have the same kind of crowd support that Goldberg and Lesnar had. But like I said, Kevin Steen was hurt, so I'm not going to totally shit on this match. All right, next up we actually had Roderick Strong and Rhett Titus. Now this is like your typical Roderick Strong match. Roderick, he really came to play tonight. Didn't go too long, but it was decent for what it was. Tyler Black versus Kenny King. Now actually I had really high expectations for this, but I was kind of disappointed. I think Kenny King hurt his ankle prior to this match, so maybe that hurt it a little bit. But yeah, this is just typical stuff. Tyler Black looked okay. Kenny King pulled out some nice stuff, but just very disappointing though, because I just expect a lot more from these two guys. Next up, we had Claudio Castagnoli and Petey Wiliams. Now, Petey Wiliams, I don't think ROH is going to bring him back, and I completely agree. I just think he's very overrated. But he had some good matches in ROH, but I just don't think anyone could take him seriously, and that kind of proves my point. I'm sorry. I think the Austin Aries Petey Wiliams match from Glory of Honor kind of proves my point. There's no one. I mean, the match is pretty good, but just no one really took him seriously in that match. So, and that's when the Twinkies chant started. So that's pretty much what it was. Claudio looked pretty good here. He won the match in the European uppercut. It was decent. It wasn't great though. All right. So the final qualifier was actually Chris Hero versus Kenny Omega. This was probably the best qualifier, but probably the most disappointing out of all the qualifiers, if that makes any sense. I had pretty high expectations for it. It was just really slow. The crowd was chanting boring. They just could not get it going. Eventually it was okay. Kenny Omega hit some nice offense. Hero did the elbow way too many times. So kind of disappointing, but still I'd say it was probably the best qualifier. So that's pretty much what it was. Next up we had the Briscoes versus Davey Richards and Austin Aries. This was strictly about setting up a Davey Richards Austin Aries match. Aries did some good stuff on the mic. I'll give him credit there. He's really entertaining on the mic. But the match is just a big tease. These two teams probably could give us a 5-star match if they really wanted to. These two teams could definitely deliver something above and beyond what they gave us here. But this is still pretty good, though. It was very slow in the beginning. Eventually, it got pretty good. The Briscoes looked pretty good. They threw some nice kicks. A lot of nice kicks from Mark Briscoe. Aries looked pretty good here. He didn't totally slack off the whole match. And Richards definitely came to play. Not the usual balls to the walls Davey Richards stuff that we get, but still pretty decent. The ending was kind of abrupt. I thought it could have went longer, but like I said, this really wasn't about them having a great match. And I can see why. They didn't really want to overshadow Survival of the Fittest, the actual Survival of the Fittest match. So next up we had the Survival of the Fittest match. Before I talk about the actual match, let me just say the commentary for this whole show was awful. I totally disagree with Chris Hero being on commentary. He should not be on commentary for a lot of reasons. I just don't think he provides a lot of energy. he just sounds like he doesn't care some of the times. He has potential though. I've seen him on PWG shows provide some very insightful commentary, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of him in ROH for the commentary. But and then when Chris Hero leaves to wrestle, they bring in this guy called Eric Santa Maria, who he's very knowledgeable. Apparently, he's a very nice guy, but he just doesn't bring any energy. He says a lot of stupid things too from time to time. So I don't know. They need to bring back Lanny Leonard. They need to make it Prazak and Leonard, who I think were very underrated as a commentary team. But that's pretty much it for the commentary. From now on, I'm actually just going to turn the commentary off if it doesn't improve. And as far as the audio goes, the audio just sounds off. It's like very, very obvious now that you can tell they're taping the commentary like 2 or 3 weeks after the event happens. So I don't think that's a very good thing. But all right, so the Survival of the Fittest match did save the show. However, I was a little bit disappointed in the first half of the match. It was just very slow. The guys just didn't have a lot of chemistry. They just couldn't get it going. So we had actually in the match. Let me break it down for you. Delirious actually got a bye because Jim Cornette felt bad for him because of what Austin Aries did to Daisy Hayes. So Delirious got the bye. So we had Delirious versus Colt Cabana versus Roderick Strong versus Tyler Black versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Chris Hero. All right, so this is how it went down. Eventually, it came down to Chris Hero, Tyler Black, and Roderick Strong. Tyler Black actually hit the God's Last Gift on Chris Hero. So it came down to Black and Strong. Now, these two guys, they saved the show by themselves. If it wasn't for what Tyler Black and Roderick Strong did, this would have been one of the worst shows probably in ROH history. And without a doubt, the worst show of 2009. But they saved the whole show. Just really good stuff. Tyler Black and Roderick kind of reminded me of the Nigel Tyler Black match from Taking the Prisoners, with Tyler Black kicking out of everything Nigel could give him. But here, Tyler's role was kind of reversed. It was actually him, just giving Roderick Strong everything he could handle, and Roderick just would not give up. Crowd was mostly behind Roderick Strong, definitely. But the stuff between these two guys is just really, really good. They busted their ass and left it all in the ring. The near falls were really crazy. Some of the best near falls I've seen all year. Tyler Black hit Roderick Strong with a variety of super kicks. Roderick would just keep kicking out. Roderick kicked out of God's Last Gift. Roderick did a sick backbreaker to Tyler Black on the top of the turnbuckle. And great intensity from Roderick. These two guys just have a lot of chemistry in the ring. I'm excited to see what they could do. I did not like the finish, though. I think the finish is very weak, in my opinion. But I can see why they did it. Basically, Tyler Black super kicks Roderick Strong. The referee counts 3, but it was obvious that Roderick Strong kicked out. So it definitely sets up a rematch. It makes Roderick Strong. It keeps Roderick Strong looking strong. So big win for Tyler Black, Survival of the Fittest champion for 2009. And it definitely paid off because now he is the Ring of Honor champion. So big night for Tyler Black. Great stuff between Tyler Black and Roderick Strong. Give those two guys credit. They saved the show. Probably the worst Survival of the Fittest show from top to bottom. However, the actual Survival of the Fittest match, I'm going to say this is the second best match. The only Survival of the Fittest match that was better than this was 2004. But this was pretty good thanks to Tyler Black and Roderick Strong. So that's my review of Survival of the Fittest 2009. Definitely do not recommend it. But if you can get it cheap because it definitely has one of the best matches of the year and the second best Survival of the Fittest match. All right, guys, I'm running out of time, but that was my review. All right, take it easy. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be interested to hear if you saw the show. Let me know what you think of it. All right.